Say, Benny, would you call yourself a bit of an anime expert?
Yeah.
So you would say, of the 25 anime that we're going to be listing here, you've seen probably at least, what, half of them?
Yes, I have seen half of these.
All right, perfect. Because in our first podcast episode ever, we have a list of 25 anime, and we have a very extremely objectively right way of ranking this of 4 criteria: story, animation, fighting, and the characters. It'll be the normal tier list ranking, and the way we are going to decide what goes in what ranks is, of those 4 categories, each category is going to get 25 points that's going to be allotted to it. So for story, if a story has 20 on it for its story, then let's say like a 25 for its animation, then like a 15 for fighting, and then 10 for characters. Probably won't rank it very high overall. It might still be a good anime, but it won't rank it very high. But that is going to be our first episode of our podcast. And one more twist is there will be an S tier, but me and Benny have decided that we can only allow one S tier per person. So I will have my S tier and Benny will have his S tier. And I think we have a pretty good idea of where our S tiers will be, but we'll see as we go. And the first on the docket is Dragon Ball. Benny, you got any opening thoughts on Dragon Ball?
I think Dragon Ball is like probably the anime everyone starts with, I would think. Or at least it's one of them. Everyone's definitely heard of Dragon Ball. It is a staple in anime. It's been around, I feel like, forever. Everyone knows who Goku is. Everyone knows Vegeta. It has some of the most famous villains: Frieza, Cell, Beerus. People love Beerus. So I just like, even if you're a non-anime watcher, you have heard of this anime before. It has some of the most iconic powers: Kamehameha, Super Saiyan, Kaioken. So everyone just knows it. It's mainstream.
Well said. And we're gonna do original thoughts on like all of these, because not all of these we have super like in-depth thoughts on all of them. But for some of them, we're gonna be going on longer than others, and Dragon Ball is definitely gonna be one of them, because now I'm gonna give my thoughts on it. If you have seen the intro video, you know Dragon Ball is my favorite anime of all time, and I'm not in the camp saying that it's a 10 out of 10. I know it's not. It's not a perfect anime. There's very few anime that I would say actually gets a true 10 out of 10. Dragon Ball's not one of them. I know it has flaws, but it is still my favorite, just because as a kid, that's what I originally played. And the way I got into it was Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3, way back on my Wii, the Nintendo Wii. So that's how I originally got into Dragon Ball, and that's the first experience I've ever had with anime. So for me, these rankings will be objectively right, but for me, there may be a bit of biases when it comes to Dragon Ball. But with our opening thoughts on it said, do you want to go into your thoughts on the story, Benny?
I think Dragon Ball's story is out of 25, yeah?
Out of 25.
Yeah, out of 25. I'm going to have to say, for story, Dragon Ball is easily getting a 20. Easily. They have their flaws, but it's damn near perfect. There's barely any filler throughout the seasons. It's very straight to the point. The fight scenes are always good, always well, what's the word I'm looking for? Scripted, I guess, or written. Character development is always there, because you have Goku and Vegeta always pushing past their limits, of course. And then even with the side characters, with what's his name? Gohan having his moment in the Cell Saga, and then he had the movie recently. They're always adding in the characters and developing on all the characters instead of just only the main protagonist, like some animes do. And I love that. I love that, basically. So it's a whole universal effect for the stories.
I think 20 is a pretty fair rating. I think it's a little higher than what I would do. I would maybe give it like an 8. If we're just going off of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, I think 20 would be fair. But because of how Dragon Ball Super kind of like, I don't know, Dragon Ball Super and per story wise kind of drags it down for me just a little bit, but it's not a whole lot to the point where it's like gonna drag it down to like a 10 for me. But I think 20 overall is a fair score. I think I would be fine with giving Dragon Ball 20. I think the story's at its best, I think, is in Z. And if you ask me, my favorite arc, this is 100% biased because my favorite character is Gohan, is 100% the Cell Saga. I love the Android / Cell Saga. That's my favorite. I think that was peak Dragon Ball, if you ask me. All right, but we will give it a 20 for story. Next is animation, which I think you have to give it a little bit of a leeway because it was originally from the 90s.
You can give it technically whatever you want. I'm just giving it a 20.
No, like I agree with it being a 20.
Oh, I think you said you're gonna give it like 18.
No, I don't want to have two different scores. I want us to come to an agreement so we don't have to do like different.
Oh, I see.
I want us to come to an agreement so we don't have to have two different scores up on the screen. Less editing to do. But okay. I think 20 is fair. I'm fine with it. But next point is animation, and I think for animation, it has to be given that little bit of like leeway because if we're talking like original Dragon Ball Z, that was I think what, late 90s, so it's obviously not on par by today's standards, but even for late like 90s early 2000s standards, I think the animation for Z is pretty good. Your thoughts, Benny?
Wait, what score did you give it? Sorry,
I didn't give it a score. I'm just saying general thoughts right now because I have a little bit of a, it's not even a hot take, a lot of people agree with what I'm about to say after your thoughts.
I like Dragon Ball Super's animation better than Z's.
Well, that's because it's new.
Yeah, I know. That's why I like it. I just think it's just cleaner, slicker, more polished because it's newer, obviously. And I think Dragon Ball Z's animation, it's like for its time, I thought it was good.
That's what I mean by you have to give it leeway because that was like 90s, and for 90s I think it still holds up in like today's standard like decently. But that's what I mean by like you have to give it leeway because Dragon Ball Z standard by even today's standard I would say it's decent honestly. But this is the part where animation for me has to go down a little bit because if you go back and watch Super again, if you watched, I think, the first like 30 episodes, which is like, I think that's the Golden Frieza arc and the Battle of Gods arcs, the animation there is not as good as later Dragon Ball Super. Because there are certain moments where if you go there and you look, the characters are just drawn very poorly. Because there's a pretty famous like meme made from when Goku was fighting Beerus on King Kai's planet, and it's just him drawn really poorly, and it was part of an official episode, and they actually published that. And I don't know, for me animation gets drawn down a little bit, but at the same time, if we go to like the Broly movie or like the superhero movie and like the end of Dragon Ball Super, oh my god, especially the Jiren fight, animation is top tier. So I think overall, I think I would give animation, if it didn't have the poorly drawn start to Dragon Ball Super, I think I would have given it a 25, but because of it I have to drag it down to like a 22 for me.
For its animation?
That's what I would give it.
You're a lot more generous than I am.
Really?
I would honestly give it like a 17, dude. 17
really?
18. Yeah.
Is it because of how like Z looks?
Yeah, it's because it's like, like for its time it was good. But like it does bring the score down because it's like if you're gonna watch Dragon Ball, like it's like, oh, I want to watch it in chronological order or something or whatever, you're gonna have to watch Dragon Ball Z. So it's going to bring the animation down. And once you get to obviously the newer stuff, especially like the movies, like the Broly movie and the Super movie, like it's amazing animation, which brings the score back up. But if we're only going off Super, the animation, I would agree with you. But since it's overall as a whole, I do not agree that it is even in the 20s. Like being generous, I would give it maybe a 19.
That's harsh. But to meet in the middle, I would give it a 22. You would give it a 17. So I think middle ground would be a 19. All right, so it gets a 19 on its animation. I just think it's harsh judging it on just because it's old. Because there's some stuff on here. There's some stuff on here that's gonna have to be drawn down because it's old.
Yeah. Hey, man.
Anyway. All right, 19 for animation. And then the third category, fighting. This, I don't think there's really any arguments. I think it has to be a 25. That's its main selling point. That's what it's known for. I think Dragon Ball has to be a 25 for fighting. Any disagreements?
Yeah.
Oh, you disagree?
I think it's in the 20s. I do think it's in the 20s, but I would not give it a perfect 25, to be honest with you. There's only a few animes on here that I'd even dare give a 25 to for fighting. And Dragon Ball Z is not one of them.
Let's see if I go through this list. There's when I look on this list, I don't know, for like actual like fighting, because that's its main draw.
Mm-hmm.
I think like their battles have influenced so many others to the point where I have to give respect, and I would give it a 25.
I'll give it a 23, 24.
So we'll meet in the middle.
I do not think it is a perfect 25.
So we'll meet in the middle, give it a 24.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and give it a 24. I don't think it should be a perfect 25.
Fighting is a 24. Now, the next one is characters. If you ask me, it is very hit and miss with characters, because the same thing with Super. If we're just going off of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, I think the characters are pretty good. I'd probably put it in maybe like 20. But because of Dragon Ball Super and how Goku is treated in Dragon Ball Super and how they made him an actual brain dead idiot, it has to drag it down for me.
Yeah.
I can't stand that Goku's whole thing is that he's just walking, like almost all the problems that happen in it happens because he's stupid. Why does the tournament or why does the Destroyer tournament happen? It happens because Goku's stupid. Why does the tournament power happen? It happens because he's stupid. And I hate that. In Dragon Ball Z, he wasn't a moron. He wasn't like a genius, but he wasn't a moron. So for characters, if you ask me, I'd have to go. Oh, but at the same time, you have Vegeta's redemption. Oh my God, Vegeta's such a good character.
And they also introduce Beerus. So.
True, Beerus is goated.
Yeah.
It's just
Whis is good.
And I've said my favorite character is Gohan. I am glad that Gohan, as of right now, it's looking like he's going to become important again, but I don't like the over-reliance on their main characters. I wish people like Piccolo and Tien actually got to do stuff.
Like they used to.
It's like they used to. So if we were just going off of Z, I think I would have given it a 20. But because of Dragon Ball Super and how basically almost all the side characters get relegated to be able to do nothing, I think I have to give it like maybe like 15 or a 17.
Damn. That's fucking harsh.
I just can't stand stupid. Okay, let me rephrase that. Stupid characters I'm fine with if they're stupid the whole time, or if they grow out of it. But Goku being not stupid and then becoming stupid, I can't stand that. So it really drags it down for me.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on it?
And, I think Goku is not as good in Super. I think some of the characters they do introduce in Super kind of get rid of that or elevate it. Like, for instance, Beerus, Whis are... Beerus is my probably second favorite character after Vegeta. And then Whis is amazing. Then they have Jiren. Jiren's good. And then they introduce I always forget his name.
Champa.
It's like
I like
the guy
Champa.
Which one?
He's Beerus's brother, Champa.
Oh yeah, dude.
I like
Champa's
Champa.
good.
But at the same
Yeah.
time, I cannot overlook what they did to Goku and how Gohan was relegated for all of Super to just do nothing. I don't like that.
Yeah. But then they introduced like all the other people from the other universes. Some of them are pretty cool. So I don't know. I think like it's like a 19 for me.
Me in the middle say 18. So I said 17.
Yeah, I'll go 18.
All right, we gave it an 18. Benny, do the math real quick. What have you got?
Yeah, I gotta do the calculations here. 20 plus 19. Plus
I'm gonna guess it probably gets high C tier.
81.
Oh, so barely gets into the B tier. And you know what? I think a B tier for Dragon Ball is pretty fair overall.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I feel like a lot of people are gonna say it's A tier, which it can be argued. It can be argued that it's A tier, but
It can be argued, but if you ask me, just Dragon Ball Super just has too many problems for me.
yeah.
All right, on to the next one, which is another very popular one. It is Naruto. Any opening thoughts on Naruto, Benny?
Okay. I want to make it very clear. Dragon Ball is the one I started with, but I didn't even realize Dragon Ball was anime when I was a kid. But my actual like official, like where I was like, I'm actually gonna start watching anime was Naruto. And here's my thing. I've never finished Naruto.
Never will.
Yes, I will. I will eventually finish it. Naruto himself as a main character makes me really mad because he's just kind of like he doesn't think. He's not. To me, he's not an actual leader compared to like obviously Kakashi Sensei. He's a great leader. I think Sasuke would be a better leader than Naruto. I think Gaara is a better leader than Naruto. Like the only reason why I think Naruto, at least from what I have seen, and I got up all the way to the point where spoilers. I'm just letting everyone know spoilers if you haven't seen this.
Everybody and their mother's seen it at this point. You're good.
Okay. I got up all the way to the point where Sasuke dies, or not Sasuke. Sorry, his brother dies. He kills him, and then Sasuke gets captured by the guy with the swirly mask. And I'm assuming that's what's his name. It's either the guy that Kakashi was mates with that died as a kid, or it's Madara, I think is his name. Because I already know who they are.
Tiha.
Yeah. And like all of those characters are awesome. But Naruto himself, I do not think is a great character. I think what's the pink-haired lady's name?
Sakura.
Sakura. She sucks. She's a horrible character. She pisses me off. Every time she's on screen, she's annoying. Every single time she's on screen, she's annoying. She literally does nothing besides complain and is an op the whole time. So, but like I said, as the anime that got me started to watch anime, and it's one of the only animes I have not finished that I've started.
I think since you've started already talking about characters, I think we'll start there for our 4 points. What would you? So after talking about characters, what would you give the characters rating?
Ooh. I think it has a lot of good characters, but I also think it has a lot of bad characters.
I will say this: when it comes to anime, there can be a lot of good characters that will help a story and like make it very watchable. But if there can be one really bad character that just makes it like hard to watch, and that can make an anime like almost make or break an anime.
It's true. So for characters, I might be generous on this one just because it's Naruto. I might go 17.
For me, I don't hate. Like I said earlier, I am fine with dumb character. Like if that's what the characters, their whole thing is that they want to be dumb. and like they just want to be the loud, boisterous one, I don't have a problem with that.
Actually, wait a minute. Sorry to cut you off. I'm going to increase my score to 19. Because I forgot about Jiraiya. He's the GOAT.
He is good.
Jiraiya's the GOAT. I don't care what one says.
That's pretty close to what I was going to say for characters, but I don't have a problem with the loud, boisterous MC. Much like an anime we'll talk later, Black Clover, where those two characters are kind of basically a carbon copy. I don't have a problem with that character.
Mm-hmm.
When I have a problem, but when I say I don't like dumb Goku, it's he wasn't dumb before. So if you want to keep a character consistent throughout and then have him grow to become a different kind of character, that's what makes a character like character, is that they're growing and becoming a different person. Which, spoiler alert, Benny, later in the seasons, he grows as a person. Shocking, I know. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I know. I kind of know what happens, but at the same time, that doesn't make up for like 650 or 700 episodes of complete nonsense.
And that's that's a fair thing to complain about. Like I said, I don't have a problem with his like character archetype in a sense. So for me, I would give characters 20 because I think actually no, because we gave Dragon Ball, we gave Dragon Ball 19. I think 20.
We gave Dragon Ball 18.
18.
Yeah.
I think 20 is fair. I think overall Naruto has stronger characters, so I think that's fair. I think 20 would be a fair score for me.
All right, well, we gotta agree here on something.
Give it 19. Sure. Fuck those Naruto fans. Piss them off. Yeah. Let's piss off Naruto fans.
No, like we gotta be harsh here.
True, because we do have some actual stellar ones coming up. Yeah, 19. And then we'll just go upwards. We'll go to the fighting next.
Yeah,
I think for fighting wise,
strong opinions on this, dude.
For the fighting, I think the actual the actual fisticuffs fighting, the choreography that they do, especially in the later episodes, phenomenal. They choreograph the fights phenomenal. But this is where my big gripe, and I imagine a lot of people's big gripes, come into play. Naruto spamming one move over and over again. Just spamming the Rasengan, but in different versions. I am not a fan of. I think it's a bit lazy.
Yeah. I agree.
So I think overall for fighting for me, but there's one fight coming up towards the end of Shippuden, Benny, that is just legitimately amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
It's hard to say. I think overall, I would give fighting. I think I would give it like a 20.
Okay. This is where me and you are going to disagree completely here. Bro, I'm going low. I'm going so low on the fighting, and I have my reasons. It's not that the fighting itself is bad, okay? It's because literally, so the whole show is what, like 750 episodes or something?
About.
Okay. I'm just going to use Grandma and Sakura fight versus the puppet guy.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Dude, that fucking fight took like 20 or 30 damn episodes. Okay. And when we talk about, I don't want to talk about it right now, but when we talk about something like One Piece, I think One Piece is better. But Naruto does not get a pass for them. Okay. Because the characters are already on, for me personally, are already on the ropes. Because of the main character, in my opinion, is not a good main character. He's not the worst character. He's like mediocre to me. Okay, so like it's hard to watch some of the fights, in my opinion, with him just whining the whole time, spamming the same freaking move over and over again. The animation itself is fine. I like the animation of the fights, but the actual choreography of the fight, especially in just Naruto, and then once you get into Shippuden is better from what I've seen. Like, I'm gonna have to give it like at least a 14, 16 being generous. Because I don't want to sit there and watch Grandma and pink-haired lady fight a puppet guy, and then they could have easily adapt them or done something, but they chose not to because they're whatever or because XYZ happened. It's like, no. Like, if it was JJK, you're getting purple hollowed off rip, buddy. And that's better than 30 episodes of, oh my God, Puppet Master, or whatever is happening.
So, there is a fight towards the end. It is in the last arc of Shippuden. There's a few in the last arc that are pretty good, but there's one specifically. And those who are watching and have seen Naruto, you probably know which one I'm talking about. But that really drags it up for me. But I would give it a 20. You would give it a 14, meet in the middle, say 16.
Yeah.
All right.
16.
Next.
Animation.
Next is the animation. Now this is where I have my gripes with Naruto, because I have to give it the same, what's the word? I have to give it the same leeway because it is kind of older now than newer stuff. But there's one fight in particular, and I'm just going to call it the pain fight, where I'm sure people have seen the memes made from it, where the animation, it's a style, it's an animation style, so that it's not errors. Like, I think the Dragon Ball one I talked about was errors, but I don't think this one was errors. It's just the style they went with. I wasn't a fan of it. But outside of the fight, they don't do the same style, which is nice. So overall, I don't hate the animation, but in the pain fight, when it does that, I don't know. Actually, it does that style a few times in different fights, but when I see it, I don't know, it bothers me. So for me, animation, I think I'd have to go like 17.
I'll go 17 on animation too.
We agreed.
I don't have anything to say. I don't know. I think it's okay. That's pretty much all I got for it.
And then
It doesn't like wow me, but it's not like the worst thing I've seen.
true. And then for the last point, story. I think out of everything in Naruto, I think this is where it is the strongest,
Yeah, that's where
right until the ending. Right up until the end of Shippuden.
Well, I've never seen the ending. You should
I'm not-
say some shit like that to me.
I'm not gonna spoil it. It's just the ending isn't bad. It's just there's a big reveal that kind of comes out of nowhere that I wish they would have done differently, because it kind of felt like an ass pull. But overall, I think I would still give the story probably something like a 20.
I'm gonna give the story.
I think it's
Or
its strongest
22.
point. I think the story is its strongest point for the anime.
I think it's a 22 in story.
So what was this?
'Cause it's
Meet in the
like
middle,
there's so
21.
much- Yeah, there's so much character development. There's so much like backstory going on with the other characters, and everyone's kind of like everyone's got something to say. Compared to like, it's like not just about the main protagonist. So yeah, and I kind of
That
like
is true.
that. Let's give it a 20. What was it, 21?
21.
Yeah, 21. All right. Let me do the math. This is definitely not making B tier.
I thought when I did my original rankings, I had them both in B tier, but I think I had Naruto at like 81 or something, and I had Dragon Ball like at an 85. What did it come out to?
73.
It's a C tier.
Oh my.
Oh man,
People are not going to be happy.
kind of like that. But like we said earlier, this is objectively right. We have categories in everything, so there's no arguing. Can't argue with us.
Yeah, like overall, it's still a really great anime.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like you
There's
like,
certain
when you
things
break
that
it
aren't as
into the
good.
categories and you give it fair ratings on those categories, like unbiasedly. It's good. That's good.
All right, and now, oh boy, here
She's
comes a
getting
big one.
praised.
Our third anime is Bleach, and Benny has not watched Bleach.
I don't know anything about it.
I have not finished Bleach. What episode? I am halfway through when Aizen is invading the human realm, and Gin just did his reveal. That's where I'm at in Bleach for those contexts. And let me say, I don't like Bleach. I think Bleach is actually pretty fucking bad. I don't get the hype around it. I gave it a fair chance. I gave it over 200 episodes worth of a chance. And there was maybe there's maybe like a stretch of about 50 episodes where I actually was enjoying it. Then after that, I started to notice problems with it. And let's get right into it. We'll start with the story.
Yeah, go ahead and tell me the story. No matter whatever you say the rank is, that's the rank. Like, I'm not even gonna argue.
Oh yeah, because you haven't seen it. Okay, I'm gonna. Do you care if I spoil Bleach at all, Benny? Like, are you gonna watch it one day?
I'll probably never watch it.
Okay, I'll tell you
I
the
have
story.
zero interest in this anime.
I will tell you the story, and that will also explain why I don't like it. So, Bleach is about the main character named Ichigo Kurosaki. He is just a normal human in like our just like normal world. And then out of nowhere, oh no, sorry, I forgot. He can see ghosts. They're called hollows, by the way. Essentially, it goes, he is able to see these ghosts, the spirits, and he meets a Soul Reaper. And the Soul Reaper's job is to kill the evil ghosts that try to stay in the like the normal world. That is the job. I see you playing with the sword. It's a very nice sword.
Oh, sorry.
You're good. No, you're good. I just thought it was funny. But then Ichigo, he meets a girl called Rukia, and she somehow transfers her power over to Ichigo. I can't remember exactly why it happened. So she loses her Soul Reaper power, and it comes to Ichigo. And that's how the story starts. They do a lot of like soul reaping together. They go hunting for ghosts and shit. And then out of nowhere, her brother, forgot his name, her brother comes by and he's like, so you lost your power? We're gonna have to execute you for that one. So she gets arrested by the Soul Reapers, the people that like what she actually is. And then she gets taken to the Soul Society, and it's Ichigo who goes on a rescue mission to rescue her. And this is another problem I have with the story. He's kind of like, imagine the most OP character. Okay, Benny, imagine this from like some like 7 Deadly Sins. Imagine you had a kid that was part demon, angel, giant, human, and fairy. Imagine that. Just like how stupid OP that character would be.
Yeah.
That's Ichigo. Because he has powers from all of the main races and like powers from the show. And he doesn't really have to try very hard to like get his powers. He has to train for like maybe a week, and then he becomes as strong as like a captain. And Soul Reaper captains are like the only people that can actually like fight. The rest, like if you're just a normal Soul Reaper, you're just fodder. But he takes like a week of training and he becomes strong enough to invade the Soul Society and like actually fight a captain, which is just ridiculous. But anyway, there it's revealed that this is the one point to the story where I'm like, okay, actually good on them. It is revealed that a Soul Society captain named Aizen is actually the one leading the evil ghosts, the Hollows. And he's like, my whole goal is that I want to become the new king of the Soul Society. And oh yeah, and they're the Soul King. He like created the universe or some shit. But they go through that, and then the rest of the story, I kid you not, for about 200 episodes, it's literally just, or no, like maybe like 150 episodes. It's them preparing to fight Aizen and then fighting Aizen. That's the story of Bleach. So like the part with the actual like invading the Soul Society and rescuing Rukia, that's an actual story. The rest of it is literally just set up and an actual fight. So for story, there's not much of a story to tell. There really isn't. The story is a fucking nothing burger. Well, actually, sorry. It's 2 buns and a slice of cheese in the middle. And the cheese in the middle is the fucking Soul Society arc. Then after that, it's fucking downhill. So for story, that's the story.
Yep.
You now know as much as everybody else. I think for story, I would give it a fucking 10.
Okay.
I do not like the story. The animation is fine. I'm trying to think back if I had any problems with the animation. I can't remember hating the animation or like loving it either, because I'm pretty sure it was made in like the mid 2000s, so it's doable, but by today's standards, it's not as good as everything else. But with the animation bit, can't remember any points where I'd say I loved it. Can't say I hated it. It was doable. What would be, I guess, 15? I think that's an average score for out of 25. It'd technically be like, what, like a 12 and a, it'd be like 12 and a half would technically be half, but I think it's a little bit better than your average animation, so I'll go 15. I think that's fair. Got that one, Benny? All right. Next is the fights. This, I do not like the story. I really, really, really don't like the fights, especially with Ichigo. And for me, it is the same problem of Naruto. He learns a move, then he's like, that's it for me, big dog. I know everything I need to know. Time to spam it. So, I'll give you an example of a fight that I really don't like, Benny. He is fighting one of the strongest hollows at the time, and he's getting his ass kicked right now. And then out of nowhere, his like girlfriend that he likes, she was like, he had like this, since I told you he's like part everything, he's also part like evil ghost hollow. So he has a thing where he can go like part hollow, and then it makes him stronger. So when he first does that, he puts on a mask that makes him part hollow, and he's fighting, and like his name is Grimjow. He's fighting Grimjow, and it's like one of the strongest hollows there is at that point. He's fighting him, and then he's losing. Like even with the mask on, he's losing. And then out of nowhere, his girlfriend goes, Ichigo, you can't lose. I need you to win. And he looks at him. I'm not even joking on this point. He looks at me and he goes, sorry, Grimjow, I can't lose now. And then he just instantly starts winning the fight, even though he was getting his ass beat. And then he decides to start winning. Like, I don't know what to call that other than stupid. So for fighting, for me, and the fact that he just spams, gets a good 10 show 24/7, for me, fighting, it's a fucking 5. I hate it.
Characters.
This is the one saving grace, because there is a side character. His name is literally Chad. I'm pretty sure in the sub it's something different, but I'm pretty sure in the dub his name is Chad. I love Chad. There's another side character that I can't stand. He's called a Quincy, and Quincy are like, they're humans that use Soul Reaper powers, but in a different way. I forgot his name, but he's an annoying fuck. I'm pretty sure people like him, but I don't. The mandatory hot GF that he has to go for the end of the series. The characters are just very bland. So for me, that makes it probably its strongest point. Actually, no, there's one character that's very Vegeta-esque, and his name is Kenpachi Zaraki. He's a pretty dope character. The captains are pretty cool. The villain, Aizen. Aizen's actually a pretty cool villain, I can't lie. But overall, I would give the characters, it's its strongest point, so I'd give it like their characters a 17.
Alright. Add up the numbers here.
Oh, I can't wait to see where this lands.
It's not a high rating, I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, people are gonna fucking hate on me for this opinion, but I do not like.
It is
I think
a
Ichigo,
47 out of 100.
it is an F tier, first F tier. We'd love to see that. And for everyone,
even if you make it to C tier, like C tier is still good. Like,
yeah, it's your average.
You just don't want to be in D or F.
And Bleach, your ass is in there.
Like, if you can make it to B tier, like, you're fucking top notch, in my opinion.
So, finishing up Bleach, we now go to the absolute opposite end of the spectrum on potential S tier anime. Just letting everybody know, potential S tier. When Code Geass, I just did a lot of yapping. Benny, you go ahead, take the lead on this one.
All right, Code Geass. I think Code Geass is probably one of the best anime I have ever. The story is phenomenal. no filler at all. And even if there is filler, it still matters to the story because they always add something into it. I think the animation is okay, but I think the animation fits its style. I think the fighting scenes are phenomenal because they're just like big brain plays, basically. Like they're actually using their brains. Every single character in that, and I really can't think of a bad character. Like even the characters that are like quote unquote bad and that people hate. Like for instance, the girl with the glasses. I don't know what her name is.
The racist lady.
Yeah. That girl. Sure, yeah. She's not a good character, but like if you compare her to something like Game of Thrones, right? Like Joffrey. Everyone hates Joffrey.
Yeah.
He's a phenomenal character. She is still a phenomenal character for what she did. Like, so she's a good character, but she's not a good character, if that makes sense.
She's a good character, but she's not a good person.
Yeah. So it's like
my sentiments are pretty similar to you, where there are some minor flaws, but like major ones like that we found with like, let's say, like Naruto or Dragon Ball, or God forbid you watch that shit show called Bleach. Like there's some pretty big flaws in that one. And Code Geass, the top of my head, I can't think any. And for that, first S tier. That's my S tier is Code Geass.
I knew this was going to be your S tier.
It is, without a doubt, the best anime that I think I've ever watched. And I can't think of one that I've watched that'd be better. There are contenders, but I can't think of one that's better.
Yeah.
So for me,
I think
S tier. We don't even have to put grades on them. It's straight up to S.
Yeah, it's just straight to S. But if I were to grade it, I think the story's easily a 25.
I'd say 24,
Yeah,
25.
24, 25. I think the animation is going to be like, I'm going to give it a 19 because it's older, but I think the animation suits its style. I think the fighting is a 20, and I think characters are 20. I'll give it 23. I would say
Easily,
like 24, 25, but
easily my favorite fight from the show is earlier season 1. Do you remember the fight on the mountain?
yes.
I love that fight. I thought that was such a good one.
So if it was not
An S tier.
S tier,
It'd easily be A. Easily be A.
I give it a high B.
It wouldn't even be an A tier, really.
For what I just gave it, it would be a high, technically.
Damn,
But
it's gonna be hard to get up an A tier.
Yeah, I am scrutinizing it. You know what? I'm gonna change my score just to make it into an A tier because I do think it should be an A tier. I'm
But
sorry.
either way, it's gonna be an S.
I'm gonna give it animation 22, and I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give its characters a 25, just because I'm being a little biased here because I think it's an amazing anime. So that's new score would be plus 20 plus 25 equals 92. So it'd have an overall 92, but it's going straight to S tier. So
Straight to S
it
tier.
would be technically an A tier.
All right, Benny, what's our next one?
I like how we instantly just went straight through that.
Well, I feel like a lot of people already know just like how good it is, so we don't have to be like, we don't really have to give it scores because just people know how good it is already. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like
Because I mean, not all of these we're gonna we're not gonna have super like long talking points on all of these. Like, especially when we get to something like, I don't know, like when I talk about Reincarnated as a Slime, I don't have a whole lot to talk about there. I'll just give what I think about it, and then we'll probably move on. The long ones will be like, the first 3 were pretty long because we had some things to say about it. Something like that.
And plus,
just good.
And plus, like, they're your big animes. You know what I mean? Dragon Ball, Naruto, Bleach,
One Piece. One Piece will get some screen time
here. Freaking, you got My Hero in here. We might spend a little extra time on My Hero. Maybe. Well, that's actually the next one that we got to talk about. Is My Hero.
My Hero's the next one.
Yeah,
I
you're
am not
absolutely-
fully caught up on My Hero. I know you are. So you take the lead on this one.
I am caught up to where Deku gets accepted back into the school after he has his little vigilante arc. And then you have like the new season and everything, which is the final season, which finishes up. It's like the second part to the final season, basically. All right. Oh shit. Okay, story. Damn. I'm gonna give it. It's got its good seasons. It's got its bad seasons. I think the first two, good. The season with I'm horrible with all of their names, but the season with the guy that has like I think the little girl name is Eerie or something. She has the horn, and he uses her like blood or whatever.
Oh, I think
to,
that
like,
was.
make the bullets to like stop super their powers and shit. That season's phenomenal.
I think that's the last season that I've watched because I remember the last thing I remember seeing from My Hero was this like magician guy that wanted to be a hero, but then his power was.
That is the worst thing in all of My Hero.
I think that's like the last thing that I watched from My Hero, and then I stopped.
That whole season's like borderline like filler. Like you don't even have to. I didn't even watch that basically because I thought it was so stupid. Like you can literally just skip to the ending of that season and then just pick up. Like you don't have to watch any of that, in my personal opinion. Or just
I will
watch a recap on it.
I'll watch My Hero 1. I'll probably watch My Hero when it completely finishes about 5 years from now or whenever it does. But I'll probably
they're on their
binge
last
it.
season.
Oh, this is the last season.
Yeah, I think they're like towards like the last of the season. Like there should only be like a couple more episodes left.
Because as of today, filming this last week, I'm pretty sure the last manga chapter came out. So once the anime's completely finished and it's dubbed, then I'll probably binge watch it at some point.
I'm pretty sure the last manga chapter is the season that's happening right now. I'm pretty sure.
I didn't know they're that caught up. Wow.
I think. Don't quote me on that. But and then after that you have the season where you have all of Endeavor's shit starts coming out. You have the big massive fight with the League versus the Heroes, and then because the hero or the League of Villains, like, how do I explain this? You don't care about like spoil things, right? Or
No.
you already kind of know what happens.
I kind of know what happens.
Okay, so like when the League recruits like all of those people in that society gang thing, and the heroes recruit all of the heroes and crap in Japan or throughout Japan, and they have that massive fight. It's like a two-way fight, and Shigaraki's asleep in the tube, getting like juiced up. Oh my gosh, this is my biggest problem with it. They could have killed Shigaraki right then and there because they stopped the tube, okay? Or whatever he was in. They stop it. And he was at like 90-something%. And then he's on the ground or whatever, and something like happens, I can't remember, to where like it finishes, because they literally just sit there. And there's I don't remember which hero it was, but he could have literally just like while he's there shot a laser beam straight into his head and killed him like instantly. But he didn't do it. Because he's like, oh yeah, Shigaraki's incapacitated and we got him and we're stopping the process. And then Shigaraki literally wakes up and he's literally juiced to the 9 fucking realms. And he just starts nuking the place himself. And then Shigaraki borderline becomes a god and becomes literally unstoppable. Literally unstoppable. I don't care what anyone says. That dude, because if he just touches the ground, he destroys all instantly. Instantly. He's literally a walking nuclear bomb. The only way you can like dodge his shit is if you fly. And the fact is, it doesn't even matter because they use eraser to stop his powers. He can still, how do I explain this? He's still so strong physically now that he can still go to toe without his powers versus Endeavor, Deku, I can't remember who else was there. All these fucking mainstream heroes and characters without his powers.
Oh.
Like, without his powers. Because I'm pretty sure they juiced him up with all for one's abilities and stuff. So he has like all for one inside his. and All For One's like, let me just take the reins real quick, and then he just starts going berserk, dude. And that's why he's so strong. I'm pretty sure that's what I remember what happened. And then and also he literally knows where Deku is 24/7. I totally forgot about that. It's because like they're like linked or something, and so they're mentally linked or something because of his powers and All For One's powers. And then they have this whole bit where they have like this like battle of like the minds basically, and it's All For One, and then it's Deku with all of the past users. Wait, what is Deku's called? All For One.
One for All.
What was One For All the good one?
One For All is the good one. All For One's the bad one.
All For One and One For All have their mental little battle, and it's in their own little realm. And Deku barely wins because he has all the other past users help him. And then Shigaraki's on the ground crying, snapping because Daddy, that's actually taking control over his body and allowing him to be strong, comes out and he's like, no, I'm gonna do what I want to do. And then Shigaraki snaps and he's like, nope, I'm writing my own destiny. Nukes the ground, blows up the whole city basically with his concrete. And now Deku goes on his vigilante arc because everyone knows that Deku is the sole reason why everything's happening because he wants his power. So he goes on his vigilante arc. Everyone hates Deku. And Deku doesn't sleep. I can't remember for how long. It was like weeks. He was not allowed to sleep because if he stops moving, Shigaraki can basically just go straight to him and catch him. And Shigaraki hires all these like mainstream like assassin like heroes and all these people, and it basically becomes Mad Max universe because the only safe place is UA, the school, and that's where all the citizens go. That's where well, at least if you're a smart citizen, that's where they all go. That's where all the heroes go because nowhere else is safe. Because Shigaraki and the League of Villains completely dismantled all of government, everything. And Deku's trying to fix it by himself. And everyone's like, no, let us help you. And he goes, no, first of all, everyone hates me. And if I even stop at UA and stay there, the League's going to know I'm there because Shigaraki knows my at all times. So he's just going to come and nuke the place. That is basically what happens in a set. And I think all of that part is good. So I'm going to give the story, I'm going to give it a solid 20. Oh, because then also you have all the other that add to the story because there's so many characters. And it has to be high. I think the story is what carries it.
This one's mainly for you because you're more caught up than me. So this one, like how Bleach was on me, this one's on you.
I'm personally going to give the animation. I think I'm just being biased because I like more modern day animation because it's more clean. And the fight scenes towards the end, if you haven't seen them, they're pretty damn good. Very good. Especially when Endeavor fights. Dude. I'm going to say the animation is 18. Fighting, I'm going to give it another... Oh, I'm going to give it 9. I think everything's choreographed very well. The colors pop. Not too much bullshit filler fights. Very straight to the point. Great dialogue during the fights. Characters. Now this is where it's gonna have a score because I think there's a lot of good characters and I think there are a lot of bad characters. But also with this anime, there are so many characters that you have to give it like a higher score because there's so many. So I'm gonna give it like a 16 on the characters because it's like it has a mixture of everything. It's got your dumb characters, it's got your super egotistical characters, it's got your like Hufflepuff type people where they're just so loving and enduring. It's got all the bad guys, the villains, and if you don't like the main villain, well, there's another main villain right over here. right here. So,
Main villain 1 and 2.
yeah, it's like okay, cool. Here's another one. Let's just throw it at you. So I'll go to
All right. So
16.
overall, what does it come out to? I'm
Overall-
gonna guess it comes out to a C tier. That's my guess.
73. It's the
I think
final
that's.
score.
I think that's the same as Naruto. I think Naruto also had a 73.
I think it did.
Wow. What are the odds? All right, Benny. What's the next anime?
It's a good anime. Like I still would give it a watch. But
What's the next one?
Full Metal Alchemist.
Ooh, very good one. Very, very good one.
I have not seen it.
Benny has not seen Full Metal Alchemist. When I say Full Metal Alchemist, I mean Brotherhood, because there's Full Metal Alchemist and then there's Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. If you're ever gonna watch it, Benny, which I recommend, you definitely got to watch Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. This one's gonna be rather short. What's the question?
I was gonna say, never mind.
So for this one, this is going to be a little bit shorter, like Code Geass, because this one is pretty unanimously agreed that is like unbelievably good. With like its biggest point for me is definitely the story. The story is, yeah, I'd say the story is amazing. I personally would give the story. It's a little less than Code Geass, so I would give the story a 23 for Full Metal Alchemist. And then the fight scenes are also pretty good, but it's kind of known for its fighting, but at the same time not. Its power system is very cool. I really like how they do their power system. There are a few specific fights that are done extremely well. I think overall I would give the fights a 20. Give the fighting a 20, because there are some anime out there that do it better, but it's still very good. And then what's the next? Then what is it after? Story, fighting.
What story? What was the animation?
Oh, animation. Sorry, that's the one I'm forgetting. I don't have the list up on my screen. Animation. Animation for Brotherhood is actually pretty good. I think it was done about the 2010s ish, so it's fairly modern still. So the animation's good. It's better than your average anime, I will say that, especially in like the years that it was coming out. So I will give Full Metal Alchemist, I will give it for animation let's say 17. Say it's above average, because there's nothing that like stands out as amazing to me.
Mm-hmm. And
then characters is, if it's not short story that's its strong suit, it's its characters. Its characters are done extremely well. The main character, Edward, is it Edward, or pretty sure his name is Edward. Oh yeah, it's Edward and Elric. I'm pretty sure are the brothers. And those two, and just every like side character done around it. My favorite character is Roy Mustang. I think that's a lot of people's favorite characters. Let me describe Roy Mustang to you, Benny. So, in Full Metal Alchemist, the way their power works is alchemy is a real thing, like where you're transmuting things into other things, and like you'll be able to like control different things. And there is I'm trying to remember the exact wording of it, but it's basically it's called equivalent exchange. So like, let's say you turn something into something, it has to be somewhat similar. So like, you can't turn air into gold, because it's not feasible. But you can turn stone into gold because it's kind of feasible. But everything comes at a cost for what you do. I'm pretty sure that's how they word it. It's been a while since I've seen it. It's probably been like 6 years since I watched it, but it's still amazing. So Roy Mustang, he learned fire alchemy or flame alchemy, however they say it. And he is able to he's basically able to combust the air that he wants. He uses the air as a fuel, and he like creates flames just literally by snapping, because the way that you do alchemy is you have to draw circles and like usually the ground or whatever you're trying to transmute. That's how the alchemy works. You have to like do a circle around it. He, on his gloves, he has like an alchemy circle on his gloves. So when he snaps, he's able to activate the circle and he's able to create flames anywhere he wants. And it's probably one of the strongest forms of alchemy that there is in the universe, but it's extremely dangerous too. And he is the only person that knows how to do it. And because I'm pretty sure the person he learned from basically told him like, this is extremely dangerous. You only pass it on to, you think, those who are worthy. And he refuses to pass it on anybody else because he recognizes how like deadly it is and how dangerous it can be. But characters wise, fuck, characters are so good, but I can't give it higher than Code Geass. I give the characters a 23. It's a super good anime. I'm gonna guess it comes out to B tier.
This is not. I'm pretty sure this has been high tier.
It is just. I think most people agree that it is unbelievably good, but I would still say I like Code Geass more, and that's why my S tier was Code Geass.
Good. I don't think I typed this in right. Give me a second. 23 plus 17 plus 20, 60 plus 23. Oh, wow.
What did it come out to?
83.
Wow, I'm surprised. Well, that's the scores we set. Well, that's how we decide we're doing out of 25.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, just the biggest down draw would be animation, just because I am being a little bit biased here because it's, what is it? It's not modern animation, so there's nothing that just stands out and is like wows me. But it's very doable, very likable animation. So I think 17 is fair. But anyway, that is Full Metal Alchemist. What's our next one?
Hunter x Hunter.
Ooh. I think you and me are going to be kind of different on this one.
Maybe.
So I just yapped. You go ahead and take the lead on this one.
Okay, let's just instantly get straight into the story. I think... dude. It's like good, but it's not like the best in my personal opinion.
It's not like Code Geass.
I think it is very mid.
Ooh.
So, yeah. Like, I like it. Like, I really do. But I don't think it breaks 20 on story. It's got to be
that's
like...
fair. For me, I think I would go like 18 if you asked me.
I was going to say 18, at least 18.
Because that's, like I said, that's above average. It's still above average.
Yeah, I'd say it's 18. Like, for people that have seen Hunter x Hunter, come on. Like,
there are a lot of episodes.
Animes are like a lot of... Bruh, Hunter x Hunter, it's just like, kind of like, yeah, I'll watch it if it's on. Or like, yeah, I'll put it on in the background while I play fucking City Skylines or something. Compared to like something like JJK, if JJK's on, you're locked in. I'm sorry, but you're locked in.
I would be surprised if JJK doesn't get in the A tier. But anyway, get back to Hunter x Hunter. I think its strongest point would probably be characters. I think that will be its strongest point in the end. Yeah, I think Hunter x Hunter, I think its strongest point in the end is probably its characters. So I think that's where it'll get its most.
Oh, yeah.
Because animation, it's doable. There's nothing that wows me.
Yeah, I give it animation. I give its animation above average, to be honest. I get like 17.
I think that's fair.
Fighting.
I like their power system. I like Nen. Nen is a very cool power system. I have to give it points for that.
I think it's fighting. It's like I said, it's not like... I don't think it's going to break 20. I think I might have to go like 18 on fighting. Like, it's not bad.
I think 18 or 19 is fair. Its fighting is definitely not as good as its story, so I think you have to at least give it... I think I'd give it an 18. Fighting.
Yeah, let's go with 18. Characters.
This is where I think its strong suits are because
Yeah.
I think this one breaks. I think this one breaks above 20 because I really like Gon. Gon is a very, what's the word? I think he's a very well done main character, especially when you get into the Chimera Ants arc and you actually see him grow and like learn. Because in the Chimera Ants arc, you know how he goes on like he goes on this little angry temper tantrum about Kite, and then he actually learns from it. That is, I think that's done pretty well, how he learns and grows throughout the series. Granted, the series is still going, so we haven't seen where he's going to be at in the end. But I think I think he's a pretty good main character, and Killua is a perfect side character. He's the Vegeta to Goku's Gon. I think he's a very good best friend for him to have.
100%. I agree. I would go 22, 23 on characters.
I'd go 21 personally because like I'm just thinking of what's coming ahead, and I think I'd have to go 21.
We got a big one up next, so
let's finish this first, and then we'll go to the next one.
We'll meet in the middle and go 22.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, because characters are definitely
that's its strong suit.
Well written, well developed, in my personal opinion. So let's see what it gets. 18.
Even the annoying character of the main group, Leorio. I like Leorio, and that's kind of unheard of for like main groups in anime. It's like an annoying one to actually be liked. You can't lie. Of those four, he's definitely supposed to be the annoying one. Oh God, what is it?
It's higher than My Hero and Naruto.
Really? What did it get?
What's this fucking rating?
What did it get total?
I'm just making sure what Naruto.
Naruto got a 73.
Yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure it's 73.
Did it get 75?
It did get 75.
Oh my word! I'm surprised.
I think it's better than Naruto.
Oh. Hot take.
I think Hunter x Hunter is better than Naruto. I think it's up for debate if Hunter x Hunter is better than My Hero. That one is very debatable, in my opinion.
I'd have to finish My Hero before I give my full thoughts, but as of right now, I would like Hunter x Hunter more just because I've finished what's out so far. Okay, so we finished Hunter x Hunter. What's next? You said it's a big one next.
Black Clover.
Ooh. This one's going to be controversial.
This one is going to be, yeah.
Because let me give you guys some spoilers right now. It's going to be controversial because me and Benny are Black Clover fans. I really like Black Clover. I cannot...
Definitely top tier.
You think it's going to end up in the A's?
Oh, 100%. There's no way Black Clover not.
So
I'm sorry.
So we'll start into it. We'll go story wise. The story, it starts out kind of basic, but then it starts to pick up toward the end of where it's at right now. So I can't give it super high. So I think for story at most, I could give it a 20 because it starts out basic, but then it starts to pick up. So I think for story, I would give it a 20.
Okay, I'll agree on the 20 because I watched it recently. I think it's like around like episode like 8 or something is when the show even starts picking up. So you only have to watch 25 episodes before it even like gets good, basically. In my personal, like it's already kind of good before that, but it's like, you know, he's in the freaking village. He has to go do the training thing.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what it was called. The competition.
Yeah.
And then he has to get into the Black Bulls, gets in, and then he has to be introduced to everybody. He has to maybe it's not 25 episodes. I can't remember. I could be totally wrong. But I remember it takes a little while.
Yeah.
And then I would say once he gets to like his first like actual mission where he's with the guy that has the fire powers and he's with Elizabeth and he has to fight the ice dude, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
That's when Black Clover gets good. So you just have to get to that point, and then after that, it's peak.
Okay, so we agreed 20 for story. I think that's fair. Now, animation.
Bro,
It's pretty damn good.
I'm giving that like 23. That's easily like a 23, especially once you get to where it's at towards the end. The fight scenes, dude, where it's Yam and Asta
Versus that guy.
Yeah, versus that dude.
So I think we'll wrap animation. I think 23 is fair. Just again, it's a modern one and it has a very good studio behind it, so it's gonna get good points. So yeah, 23 for animation, and then we'll go straight into the fights. If you ask me, its biggest selling point is easily its fights and its characters. I think characters a little bit more than fights, because its fights. Asta, I guess you could say Asta kind of has the same problem that I'm not a huge fan of with the other ones, like where he gets one move and he kind of spams it at the start because he just gets his magic swords and he just doesn't really do anything with it. So I think that's the biggest problem with the fights, is that he doesn't actually get to really do anything with his swords but he learns stuff later, which I'll give him a pass for that.
Because doesn't Naruto technically
learn like other jutsus?
Learn other things. Well, not even just other jutsus, because doesn't he learn to like control the Nine Tail and like, shit?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. But at the same time, like, Rasengan, brother, he does spam it a lot.
Yes. But overall, its characters are better than its fighting. So I think its fighting I would give like maybe like a 22, if you ask me. They're still very good. Because
I can't remember who it was, but I'm pretty sure it's during the witch season.
Oh, when they go to like the witch kingdom.
Yes, that there's a character like the villain in that season towards the end.
Benny there.
And the whole fight animation is just peak. And then you have the fight scenes with what is his name? The Wizard King versus
Julius. That's fight is
Julius. The Julius. Just the one freaking scene where he's like, "Where's your grimoire?" He goes, "Oh, it's right there," and it looks up, bro. Come on.
That is really good. I think 22 or 23 is a fair rating for the fights.
Yeah. And then the last couple of fights in that. Oh yeah.
And now that brings us to characters, which I think is its strongest point. I will say this until I die. I think Asta is a good character, whereas I know people don't like the stereotype that he is. I don't have a problem with it, like I said earlier. So I like him as a character. By God, how much he's had to work to get what he wants. That just makes him such a good character. And then Benny's weird obsession with Noelle.
Dude, I love Noelle. Because you don't understand. I like those type of girls, bro. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Okay.
And then,
what do you call it?
Then obviously,
hit me.
And then obviously, dude, Captain Yami. Oh, what a character!
Oh yeah, Captain Yami, Julius. Even the villains are extremely good. Oh yeah.
So I honestly think 25 for characters. I love the characters. I think that's honestly.
I honestly cannot think of one bad character.
There is one character there's one character that I don't like, and it's Magma.
Who?
The fucking baseball
guy. I knew you were
guy.
gonna say Magma.
I don't like him.
I'm not a huge, but he's not even like that bad compared to other bad character.
That is true. He's not that bad, but he's the one character in there that if I truly think, like if he wasn't there or if he was done differently, the show would be better.
Yeah.
But I think it would still either
down one.
No, because its characters are still amazing. 25. It has to be a 25. Captain Yami.
Yeah. All right.
I would be surprised if this. I think this may end up in like the high 80s.
Well, it has 20s across the whole thing.
And when I said earlier this will be controversial, I'm pretty sure most people don't like Black Clover, but me and Benny, Black Clover fans all day of the week.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember your old boss that just absolutely loves Naruto, gushing grannies over it? And then you tell him you thought Black Clover was better, and he was like,
Oh, he lost his mind. Overall, 91.
I think that's fair.
That is
I think that's fair.
Very fair, because we could have been a lot more less critical, especially on the story, because the story is phenomenal.
All right, A tier.
All right. Next
What's our next one?
I don't even know what this is. Re?
Oh, is it ReZero?
I'm assuming it's supposed to be ReZero. I just have Re.
ReZero. You have not seen ReZero, so I will talk about this one. Double checking.
Saburu's?
Subaru.
Yeah, some guy named Subaru is in this anime.
You'll need to watch ReZero one day because it is actually very, very, very good. I honestly, this one might be an A tier, Benny. This might be an A tier anime.
Well, it's up to you because I can't voice my opinions on this.
So we'll start with the story. Oh yeah, and the fighting on this one, I think for this one we're gonna have to count its dialogue and how, or we'll have to count its conflicts as it's fighting because this one isn't known for fighting. There's only a few fight scenes really, so I think it'd be unfair to make it have one point be about fighting. But we'll get to that bridge. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Starting with the story. The story so far, its story is very, very good. I really like the story of season 2. So let me describe. I'll give you the basic story. I'm not going to do any spoilers.
Yeah,
because
spark
notes of the story. I'm trying to remember. It's an isekai, so it's the deal where he leaves his world and he comes to a different one. That's what an isekai is. I can't remember if he dies in his original world or if he just gets reincarnated. No, I'm pretty sure he dies. So I'm pretty sure he gets ran over, as typical isekai go. So he dies in his original world and he comes to a new world. And I'll describe the first episode because I don't want to spoil it. He comes to this world and he has basically no idea what's going on. And he basically gets wrapped up with this one lady who says that she's gonna, help him figure stuff out and whatnot. Help him get figured out. And then something happens. He ends up with a royal family. I can't remember exactly why, but the king just died, I'm pretty sure. And there's a big election happening. And he gets involved with one of the people, one of the main people running to become the new ruler of the kingdom. And it's just about him basically trying to survive in this new world and trying to navigate how to actually help the household that he's helping now. That's the basic plot points of it without spoiling anything. But overall, and I won't describe anything in season 2, but season 2 is very good. I think for story, I would give its story and its characters are easily its 2 strongest points. I think I'd give it if Black Clover was a 20, this is easily a better story. So I think I'd give this story a 23.
Okay.
And then for animation, its animation is very good. Season 2 is done very well. Season 1, the animation isn't as clean, but that's just because season 2, I think they had a longer time to animate it and they put more effort into it. So I think animation, I would give it I'd give it also a 22 as well. So it's done very well.
Wait, give the story 23 or 22?
I gave the story a 23.
Okay, I just making sure. Animation is 22. Fighting,
I'm going to switch it with the conflicts of the story because it's not known for its fighting. So I think it'd be unfair to just judge it off the fights that do happen. Its conflicts and how the main character deals with those conflicts are done extremely well. Because I will say this is the draw to the show, Subaru, when he dies, spoiler alert, he can die in the show. When he dies, he gets basically sent back to a respawn point. So he's not, when he dies, he doesn't die. He gets sent back to a respawn point. So he can like, that's why it's called, like, it has the re in front of it, I'm pretty sure, because he's redoing a lot of things. And that's like how he deals with stuff, is he tries to do different things after each, like if something doesn't go his way, he tries it another way. And like he just keeps trying and trying. But the conflicts he has to run into and he has to keep trying over and over again are done very well. I think I'd give them, honestly, a 24.
For fighting.
I mean, I call it conflicts, but yes, fighting. Give it a 24.
And then characters.
I'm trying to think. Oh no, I'm just thinking, because we gave some pretty good. Fuck, if Black Clover gets a 25, this one has to get a 25. Characters are also amazing in this one.
Okay, well, this is definitely a high.
I'm telling you, ReZero is amazing. You need to watch it one day.
Is this like a popular anime that everyone like loves, or what?
It's very popular. I don't know.
94.
I'm not surprised. It is amazing. I think it's across the board. Most people realize or recognize it as one of the best ongoing anime out there right now.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I wish there was a way to, like, a stat I could bring up to show like how much it's loved, but I don't even know where to look for that.
I believe you.
What's the next one?
All right. Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh, we're hitting some heaters right now.
Yeah, this is a big one.
I wouldn't be surprised if this legitimately gets a 98 or like a 99. I wouldn't be surprised. Because this Jujutsu Kaisen, I'm trying to think of what I find wrong with it. Its story, if you ask me, is very well done. The fighting is its main draw. So I Dax, shut the fuck up. Dax is a JJK hater. Shut the fuck up back there. No one wants to listen to you. Fuck. Its animation is also done extremely, extremely well, especially season 2. Season 2, oh my god. Yeah. I can't think of anywhere where it's not like unbelievable. This is a contender for S tier. If I didn't have Code Geass and S, this might be my S tier. Because I can't think of where it goes wrong. Really, can you think of any major flaws off the top of your head?
No.
So
it's probably one of the best animes out there.
So legitimately for story, it's not as good as story as Code Geass, so I think I would go with 24 for story, but it's still really good. Maybe 23.
I think we should go 23.
Like, I still think it's an amazing story. And then its animation season 2 has to be a 25 for animation. That was just, especially the Maharaga fight. Oh my god.
Yeah. Plus, if you include V.
Yep.
That you're supposed to watch before season 2, dude, get out of here.
I think the animation has to be a 25.
Animation's definitely 25.
And then the fights. I think,
dude, it's gotta be.
It has to be up there. I think if I think about the fights, if I have any major issues, the thing I really like about the fights is that the curse techniques that they use, most of them aren't just spamming it 24/7. Then they actually have some pretty good hand-to-hand fighting, which I really like.
And then
so I think I would give it a 24 or 25, me personally.
Yeah, I'll go 24. 24. Yeah, because with the fighting, dude, it's in the second season especially. I don't know any of their names. Sorry, but you got the volcano head guy versus Sukuna.
That one was amazing.
Dude, that fight visually is so good. You have Sukuna versus that monster
Maharaga.
thing that comes out of Megamine, or Megamine, whatever his name is. You
Maharaga.
have he's my favorite character. Why am I drawing a blank on his name? Toji?
Oh, Toji versus Megami. Oh, and Toji versus Dagon, the fish guy.
Oh, no, it's not Toji. I do like Toji. What's the big buff? Toto?
Oh yeah, Toto and Yuji versus Mahito.
Okay. Yeah. Toady. Yeah. That fight, goated. What's the plant curse's name?
Oh. Oh god, what's its name?
Whatever that mainstream plant curse is, that fight.
Oh yeah, Gojo's fight in the subway. Unbelievable.
Yeah, where you find out what the boogie oogie or whatever is.
Oogie woogie.
That is amazing. Yeah. Even any mild fight in that anime is better than most animes like big fights, in my opinion. So it has to be up there. My personal.
I'd say 24 or 25, but I'm fine with 24.
We'll give it a 24. Characters.
25. Can't argue.
It's 25.
It's got to be a 25.
This isn't my opinion, the only complaint I've personally heard is some people think Yuji is annoying, the main character.
Really?
Yeah, but I think he's fine. I like Yuji.
But like I said earlier, I don't have a problem with the kind of like dumb character type, which he doesn't even play dumb. He's just new to this world, whereas these people have known it for their whole lives. He's brand new to it.
All right, we almost have a damn.
Oh, and Sukuna, I fucking love Sukuna. I think he's such a good villain.
Oh yeah, like every character, whatever the Bloodbender guy is, that guy.
What's his name?
Dude, that guy's sick. And of course, like, dude, come on.
Kenjaku is a very cool villain.
So we're gonna say that it is came out to 90.
I'm honestly not surprised. It deserves it, honestly. I think I know what you're saving. I think I know what you're saving your S tier for, Benny.
I'm not gonna confirm or deny.
We'll save it for. I think it's gonna be the grand finale.
Okay.
But we'll see. What's our next one?
Chainsaw Man.
Also a very good one.
Yeah.
I don't even know if this is a hot take. I don't think it's as good as JJK, but it's still very good.
I think the animation in Chainsaw Man has to be on par with JJK. It has to be, because if we gave JJK 5 for animation, Chainsaw Man needs a 25 for animation.
I'd be fine with that.
I was like, their visuals are so good, and if we're giving a 25. Wait, what do we give for frame? If we're giving 24 for fighting in JJK, we also have to give like a height. Chainsaw Man has to have at least 23. There's no debate. I'm sorry. The fights in Chainsaw Man are so visually pleasing, especially after you watch that first episode and he fights the demon, zombie. The zombie thing. And then he literally just comes out dual chainsaws, and there's no it's all crisp, clean, no stuttering. He just goes straight in, just bam, chainsaw to the face, and the thing's literally just screaming in terror. Dude,
I think where it falls shorter for me versus JJK is that we've only had one season, so its story hasn't developed as far. So I think maybe if we get later seasons of story as it develops, it may become better. So I think the story's not as good right now.
Yeah, I think the story is where it's gonna take a bigger hit, but the story for that first season isn't even that bad.
Oh no, it's still good, but it's just JJK's had another season to do it, so I don't think it's just not fair, but that's how it is. That is true. So I think, what do we give the story for JJK?
We give it 23.
And I think that this one would be would it be probably like a 21 or a 20?
Let's give it a 20.
I'm fine with that.
Give it 20. Animation has to be 20, at least 24, 5. So we'll give it 24. Fighting, it's got to be at least 22, 23.
I would go the
But
23 range. The fight, I really like the fights in JJK.
yeah,
Oh, sorry, Chainsaw
I was
Man.
gonna say Chainsaw Man characters.
Characters are a very strong point. Denji is I really like Denji as a main character.
Yeah, he's phenomenal.
And the side characters, Power and is it Aki?
Dude, yeah,
I think so. I say his name.
Power. Dude, yeah, oh yeah.
And then everybody's obsession, Makima.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you ask me, I don't really subscribe to that camp. I don't want to be treated like a dog.
Oh, put me on a collar. Try to control this fucking dog. I love that.
I think characters, if we gave that one a 25, I can't see anything other than a 25 for Chainsaw Man 2.
For characters?
I can't see anything other than that because so far the characters, each one they've introduced, I've really liked. Even the fucking the annoying bitch that like has her little freak out in the Infinity Hotel.
Oh yeah, because even though she's like tripping and doing all her stuff,
she redeems herself at the end of the season.
Yeah, like that. Like, how they did it was so well written and scripted and everything. Like whoever voice acted her killed it.
They did.
So,
that's another. We could only do 4 categories, but voice acting is a big one that we forgot to talk about. But so far in all of these, I don't think any of these have had awful voice acting, so we don't have to worry about it. But if it has to be a 25. The characters are so good. And I bet when season 2 comes out, it may even come up to a full 25 across the board. Who knows? I wouldn't be surprised.
It has got a 92.
That's to be higher. Wow.
92. Well, we kind of took a hit on the story.
But again, that's not its fault.
Higher, yeah. So we gave Chainsaw Man 20, and then we gave things like chill. We give Naruto. Oh, we give Naruto a high rating.
The story for Naruto is like one of its main draws.
Oh, I think our ratings.
I think we've been pretty fair across the board so far. What's our next one?
We're gonna get flamed. That's okay.
Uh-oh. What's our next one?
Oh, not for that, just for our rating.
Oh. People, no matter what we say, people dislike us.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Next one, another big one. Demon Slayer.
Ooh.
All right. I have an extremely hot take on this one.
Oh, hot take.
Okay.
I want to hear this hot take. You go first. You go first.
It has to do with the fighting. Okay. I think season 2, Demon Slayer.
That the Mugen Train.
I don't even know if this is a hot take. I'm just.
Is it Mugen Train that you're talking about?
No. They're in the
Entertainment District arc.
The fighting at the very end with the Hashira and the Upper Demon. I think that fight is the best fight in all of anime. I have not seen one fight in any other anime that has come close to being that well scripted, that well animated, that well dialogued, that well like eye-popping, dude. Like everything about that fight is amazing. I don't care what anyone says. That is peak anime fight of all time.
I don't know. That may be a hot take for some people, but I don't. If I think about it, I can't off the top of my head say what my like best fights I've ever seen are. But that I would say that probably breaks top 10. Because that is a very well done, very choreographed fight. But we'll start back to story. We'll come back to fights afterwards. Story. I think the story of JJK, because we're pretty deep into it, I think we have a few movies and then one more like season, and then I think the story's over. With how they've done the story, it's good. It feels at the same time kind of, what's the word? The stories kind of play out the same, especially after after season 1. because if you think about it, how they started Mugen Train was they were like, "You're gonna go accompany this Hashira on this mission." Okay, and then season 3, which is season 2, which is the Entertainment District arc. They also go, "You're gonna accompany this Hashira on his mission." Okay, I didn't like how it's kind of like, what's the word, copy and pasted right there, but I wouldn't say it's bad. It doesn't knock it off points too bad for me. But the story is still good, but with how it's kind of just like things happening and them kind of just like falling into the situations, I don't like it as much. Like, you know what I mean?
I can see your point.
I don't like it as much, but it's not a huge deal. I think overall I would still give the story like maybe a 21, 22.
I give it 21.
21? I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it's gotta be 21.
Now, animation. Oh boy. That, especially, I don't like just handing out 25s back to back, but the animation is just so good.
I'm giving 25. I don't care.
It's just so. I think that's fine.
I don't care. Sure, yeah,
it's
it is
25.
new, but like, that's just how we live now. We have that luxury, you know.
That is true.
So it's like, come on.
Yep, 25 for animation. It's going up there.
Fighting, bro. I don't care.
My only gripe with the fighting is I kind of wish it wouldn't make sense because they're normal humans, but I kind of wish the breathing styles actually created the elements that they do. Because like when you see it happening, it looks extremely cool. So like the Rengoku fight, I kind of wish that it was legit flames coming out of it. I know it's supposed to just represent how it feels to like the person being hit by it. But when they have the visuals for that, and then you're thinking in the back of your mind like, oh, that's not actually happening. The guy's just like fucking floating in the air, getting like hit by wind right now, and like attacks from the sword. It draws it back a bit for me. So I think I would give the fighting a 23 for that. 23 or 24.
We're going 24.
Because that's my only gripe with the fighting. I just wish that it actually did that.
Characters.
This is where my hot take of this series comes in. I'm pretty sure the majority of people don't like Zenitsu. I think Zenitsu's actually funny, and I like Zenitsu.
I hate Zenitsu.
I think he's funny.
Get shot. I think he's annoying. He is.
I find him funny.
Dude.
One of my favorite scenes is from the Mugen Train movie or season, because they technically made episodes out of it, so season or movie, whichever one you want to call it, but we saw the movie. In the movie, when they get knocked out by the demon and then they go into Zenitsu's mind to see his dream, I thought that whole scene was just hilarious. But that's just me. And I find his antics funny, personally.
We'll give it. What do you think it is?
Ooh. I don't think its characters are as strong as Chainsaw Man and JJK. So I think a 23 or 22 would be fair.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think. Does it have any like bad characters, or like characters that make it like unbearable? People will argue Zenitsu. People also argue. People do. I've heard it all with the three, with Inosuke, Zenitsu, and Tanjiro. Some people don't
have a problem with any of them.
Some people don't like Inosuke. A lot of people definitely do not like Zenitsu. But
man, I just find him funny.
At the end of the day, like, I don't think it's that big of a issue in my opinion, because it's just like, oh, you don't one of the three main. Good thing there's two other main characters. So people are like, oh, some characters are so unbearable. Well, suck it up.
For me, I think I would go 22. Final answer for me.
Yeah, I'll go 22. Do the math.
All right, let's add it up.
I think this is definitely going to be high 80s, low 90s.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is a B tier, because the ones that we put in A, I don't think it's as good as A overall, but this is still extremely good.
Let me do it one more time just to make sure. 92.
Wow, they get an A tier. They got higher. Oh, it's one higher than Black Clover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. I'd agree with that. I think it'd be better than Black Clover.
So we're gonna wrap it up on Demon Slayer. We have. Do you want me to tell the audience what the rest of the list is? Because we are halfway through, or a little less halfway through technically.
Nah, they'll find out. They'll find out next time.
Okay, so yeah, we're going on Demon Slayer. We're halfway through, and we're gonna do a part 2 to this talking segment, or a little. I don't even know what to call this yet. Our crack views. That's there you go for our crack views on things. And then after we finish that segment, we might do. Well, we'll leave it up to you guys if anyone actually watches this, and people vote. We will do a top tier either Disney movies or only Disney princess movies, or we'll do childhood cartoons from everything like Disney. What was that really old one called? Boomerang,
Forgot about Boomerang.
Cartoon Network, and Nickelodeon. And then that one would probably be awesome.
When I think if we're doing the S tier system again, I already know what my S tier would be if we do old cartoons, which I'm not going to spoil it.
I don't. Okay, if we do the cartoon ones, we're gonna need more per person.
Mm-hmm.
Like
we'll get Ethan on that.
Especially as because if we get Ethan on it, then yeah. But
and then who knows? Maybe we bring some other guests on to help us rank some stuff. You never know.
Maybe we do. But anyways, that is going to wrap it up today, guys. We will finish the list on the next one, and then I'll make sure that I'll figure out how to get people to vote. So, thanks for tuning in, y'all.
See you next time.